What it do? Welcome to Three Count Commentaries. This is your host, Mongo Slade. So we're going to talk about NXT from January the 27th, 2021, which in my opinion it was actually not good. The thing is, it's not that NXT is not, the wrestling isn't good. It's just that NXT lacks energy, freshness. It just feels super indie. It also feels longer than it really is. It's like, well, let's go through it, because I don't. It's the tournament, I think, and I think this tournament is really sucking the energy out of NXT. So the first match was Drake Maverick versus Killian Dane versus MSK as the second round of the Dusty Cup. MSK did some pretty cool double team moves. Dane and Drake hung in there with them for a little while. I was actually kind of impressed at their tag team, chemistry that has been building over the last couple of months. This is fine, except Killian Dane and Drake Maverick were not featured on NXT. They were on 205 Live. Like, they won their tag team tournament match on 205 Live. So it's like these guys were an afterthought, and now they're on TV, and now they're giving these long matches. And it's like, okay. So MSK wins, which was the right move anyway. So then Pete Dunne dropped off Birch and Lorcan, like, a dad dropping his kids off at school. Real weird. So Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they talked about this being a bond between the two of them that's been built up over a year. Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea are two people who are looking to break out, and they're going to be their next match. Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea, who has probably been on NXT twice, and Aaliyah, who has been off TV since October. So Aaliyah has not been on NXT since October, and Jessie Kamea had one match on NXT all of 2020, it seems. Because remember that one time she was supposed to be on Retribution. She was one of the people in Retribution. And then when she kind of got outed, they put her on NXT that 1 week. And that was the last time she was on NXT. So neither one of these women have been on NXT since October, at least. And now they're wrestling Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And they're given way too much time. Look, I don't mind Aaliyah or Jessica Kamea, but they haven't been on TV. So why are we focusing so heavily on this match? Why not just have Raquel Gonzalez kill them? Like, is Aaliyah going up to the main roster or not? Or is Jessica Kamea going to actually do something or not? Like, why are they in limbo? Why is there so many people in limbo in NXT where they just kind of disappear, and they disappear for long periods of time? So I was definitely surprised at how much offense Jessie and Aaliyah got and how much time this match got. It was far too much, because you just could have just had Raquel Gonzalez squash them and make it look more impressive than working a real match. They will face Casey Carton and Katie Catanzaro next week. Okay, that ought to be interesting at least. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell celebrated their win. They won last week. Johnny Gargano didn't want to talk about Kushida. He don't even want Kushida's name mentioned. He's Voldemorting Kushida. And Johnny Gargano is not good. He is not good. I think you can draw a direct line between people losing interest in NXT and the amount of Johnny Garganos on TV. It's just way too much Gargano. Way too much. And the crazy thing is, we still got Dexter Lumis eavesdropping on Johnny Gargano. Johnny, he's hiding behind the curtains, listening and eavesdropping to Johnny Gargano, which we don't need. We don't need that. We just had this match. We just had these two guys wrestle for no reason. And I don't think we need to have them to have a match. I certainly don't want Gargano to beat Kushida and then have to wrestle Dexter Lumis. I don't want that. I want Kushida to win the title. I want Gargano to take a nap. I want him to take like a 4-month vacation and not do anything. So they're doing Maleficent shit with Scarlett again. She's playing with tarot cards and speaking like, I don't know, what is that, Belgian or some kind of crazy language. But this is what I love about NXT, because after they do the Scarlett thing where she's talking in that strange language and doing tarot and licking her fingers and stuff, it goes to the commentary table, and Vic Joseph, he is so expressive. Like, he has like a rubber man face, like like almost like a Jim Carrey like face. Like I think I started liking Vic Joseph at Halloween Havoc when he was dressed like Waldo from Where's Waldo, and he was you could see like the excitement in his face. And in this situation you could see how Scarlett had blown his brain. He was like, sheesh, whoa, what am I looking at here? Okay, so then they actually supported and promoted Tegan Knox doing a training session with Brie Larson. Oh my God, why on earth would you do that? I mean, if Brie Larson hasn't pissed off enough people, now we're going to bring her into the wrestling world and upset a bunch of people there too. Look, I didn't even watch Captain Marvel, so I'm not about to sit down and complain about how Brie Larson is a cunt. Like but I didn't even watch that movie. But this is actually on her YouTube channel, which is really strange that they would promote Tegan Knox's YouTube channel. But I guess she's almost on the verge of coming back again from like her fourth torn knee and ACL or whatever the hell. Here's hoping Tegan Knox is boring. Hopefully she comes back and does something interesting. And not being Captain Marvel, that would suck. So the third match was Tyler Rust versus some guy who was not mentioned. And matter of fact, the commentary and everybody went out of their way not to mention this guy's name. So Malcolm Bivens says that last week was a speed bump, and that this week he's handpicked Tyler Rust's opponent. And not only was he unnamed by the commentators, he was unnamed by the ring announcers, he was unnamed by everybody, and yet he still got offense. What the fuck? This guy who you didn't even care to name got offense in. This was ridiculous. No. Why not just have Tyler Rust kill this guy? Like, I don't understand what is the problem here. Like, only thing I can say is there must be people who got the wrong in NXT. It must be. Otherwise, there's no reason for you to have Tyler Rust, who you're supposed to be trying to build or do anything with, have him doing this thing with this guy. And they've been telling this story like Rust, he challenged Bronson Reed and he was kind of punching above his weight. And I was kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? Tyler Rust's first match was him pushing Tommaso Ciampa to the limit. He should have been able to beat Bronson Reed. He should have been able to squash this guy. There's no consistency. Tyler Rust almost beat Tommaso Ciampa. This guy shouldn't even be a competition for him. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. So next, we had Grizzled Young Veterans. They said they're here to win. And that Kushida and Leon Ruff are individuals while they are a team. Leon Ruff says he believes that they can beat anyone. And Kushida said the Dusty Cup represents all the prestigious things about the wrestling business. So the Grizzled Young Veterans defeated Kushida and Leon Ruff. And another, they had two pre-match promos. The Grizzled Young Veterans talked about their tag experience, and that their years of tag experience is much better than the 5 minutes of Kushida and Ruff. And Zach Gibson called Ruff a one-hit wonder and made fun of the fact that Kushida wrestles in jeans. So this was a pretty good match. I mean, of course it is. It's just this tournament is just sucking the energy out of this show. But Grizzled Young Veterans did a Doomsday device, which was pretty cool. They won the match with the Ticket to Mayhem, which is their finishing hold. And then after the match, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory actually attacked Kushida and Leon Ruff post-match. And Austin Theory was kind of holding Leon Ruff outside the ring, and they were chuckling and laughing. And then all of a sudden, here comes Dexter Lumis. He didn't attack anybody. He just kind of appeared like a phantom. And of course, Gargano and Theory got scared and ran off, because of course they did. So then Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. Well, Finn Balor went to Kyle O'Reilly to see if he was ready. And in typical Finn Balor fashion, he just stared at him. He has just become a staring machine now. He is like the super staring guy. And he's intense for no reason. He's just so tense. So he just walks into the ring and he's like, "Are you ready?" And Kyle O'Reilly's like, "I'm always ready." And then they start staring at each other. And Kylo Ren's like, "Can I trust you?" And, and Bella was like, "What did you think?" He said, what the fuck? Why are you so angry? So then, Kylo Ren said they need to be on the same page. And see you out there then. And then he was like, "Okay, I'll see you out there then." And I missed my boy Kurt Stallion. He actually took place at a promo earlier in the night. Kurt Stallion, they did a promo because he's supposed to be wrestling for a cruiserweight title. They had let Kurt Stallion out of this 205 Live box finally. So he was on NXT, looking straight up like a Von Erich. And he was talking about how he drove 19 hours by himself, following the shooting stars, and knew that, he's got to strap this rocket to his back in order to be a superstar. And he said the rocket he's going to strap to his back is called the Cruiserweight Championship. And he was going to win that Cruiserweight title tonight. But Kurt Stallion gets injured and he gets beaten up. We don't see the actual attack. We just see him laying down on the ground, clutching like his shoulder or his arm or something like that. And they say, "Oh, Kurt Stallion cannot compete." So once again, he gets screwed out of his cruiserweight title match. So then they go to talk to Santos Escobar, and he's told that Kurt Stallion can't compete. He's not going to be medically cleared. Escobar is about to start with some bullshit, and then William Regal barges in and and basically blamed them for beating him up. Blame Legado del Fantasma for beating up Kurt Stallion, which of course they said he didn't do. Then he says next week the match will happen, and if anything happens to Kurt Stallion, he will hold them responsible for it. And Santos Escobar was like, okay, sure, whatever. So then, amongst his things, like near his cruiserweight title, there is a card, like a playing card. And then Santos Escobar picks the card up and kind of looks at it, and he kind of feigns concern, like, "Oh my God, the end is coming. The end is coming." So obviously it is Karrion Kross who is threatening Santos Escobar now. Santos Escobar did make some jokes about Karrion Kross the week before, so that ought to be interesting. But Karrion Kross is not a cruiserweight, so we kind of have to ask the question of what's going to happen here. So is he just going to fight Karrion Kross? Which I'm guessing is fine, but Kross is not a cruiserweight, and Escobar still has cruiserweight contenders. So I like this though. I like that Escobar is going to fight Karrion Kross. It's going to be 3-on-1. Now it's going to be strange because of course Kross is a heel. Escobar is also a heel, so something's got to shake. Unless they're going to turn Karrion Kross face. I don't know about that one, dog. I have no idea how they're going to make that make sense. But this seems to be the next move, is that Kross is going to fight Escobar. That ought to be fun. That means also Escobar probably going to have to beat Kurt Stallion. And I don't know, man. I think Stallion should win that match. I don't know. So then we get Toni Storm. Toni Storm marches to the ring. Oh my goodness. Jeez. Man. That, I'm telling you. Our cherry lip Park goddess could bring sunshine to a cloudy day, I tell you. So she says that she cuts a promo, and she says that she doesn't wait for what she wants, and that Io Shirai took the Dusty Cup from her, so now she's going to ruin Io Shirai and take her title. So then Io Shirai marches down to the ring, all 4'7" of her, and very militantly. And she is she is just as confrontational as Finn Balor. Like, that's the one thing about the NXT champions, is they are very confrontational. They do not mind getting in somebody's face. So Io Shirai marches and stomps up the stairs and gets in Toni Storm's face. She's about as big as one of Toni Storm's thighs. And she started saying, she's like, "I already told you I would fight you anywhere." And then she doesn't like Toni. And then she knocked Toni down, and she just has the audacity to put her hands on our cherry lip Park goddess. Like, how dare she? I like Io Shirai less and less the more she keeps touching Toni Storm. You need to touch Toni Storm less. And then anyway, as she knocked Toni Storm down, kind of bumped her a little bit. Mercedes Martinez came out there to attack Io Shirai, which was pretty cool. And then Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez got into an argument, in which allowed Io Shirai to attack them from behind. And then Tony Storm clobbered Io with the belt. And then she also got into a fight with Mercedes Martinez. It's just a big triangle feud. So you got Tony Storm can't get a one-on-one match. Now it's got to be Mercedes Martinez involved. And look, I don't mind Mercedes Martinez versus Io Shirai. I don't mind Io Shirai versus Tony Storm. I'm sorry, our cherry lip Paul Guidance Tony Storm. I don't mind either of those one-on-one matches. I do mind a triple threat match. That sucks. Just pick one and go with it. The other one should just lose on TV. And if you're going to take the title off of Io Shirai, it probably should be Raquel Gonzalez that does it. And but that's just a third heel in this situation. So I don't know. I think Io has had the belt for a long, long time now. I think she's been she ain't been a champion a year yet, but she's been champion for quite a while. I do definitely think you either need to give it to either Mercedes or Raquel. But I'll never complain about our cherry lip Paul Goddess being the champion. I just don't want it to be a triple threat match because that would suck. So Swerve is talking about Bronson Reed again. Swerve, man, I don't know what's going on with him, but he cut a bad promo here. This promo sucks. So Swerve talked about why he confronted Reed because Reed confronted him. And he says, oh, it's everybody in the world just wants to point fingers at me, blame me for everything. So then he asks the interviewer to point a finger at him. So she does, and she's like, well, how many fingers are pointed back at you? And I was like, what the fuck does this mean? What does this got to do with anything? This is stupid. It's the old, when you point a finger at someone, you got 4 fingers pointed back at you. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. This is so vague. What are they fighting for? Just tell me what the fuck they're fighting for. I don't get why we have to be so vague and cryptic about what the hell these two guys are fighting for. They're not fighting for anything. That's the thing. They're not fighting for anything. They're just fighting. So Imperium shows up. They did a vignette for Imperium, which is pretty cool. And they talked about how they dominated on American soil when they beat Undisputed Era at Worlds Collide. But then something happened. 2 members of Imperium got trapped in England, in Europe, while 2 got trapped in the United States. And so they were separated and isolated. And while they were separated, Walter dominated as the NXT UK champion, and the other 2 members of Imperium, Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, were the tag team champions in NXT. But now, their success is in their unity, and now they're coming back. And so you got Alexander Wolf said his appearance is just the beginning. There's gonna be more coming, and I cannot wait for Walter. We need some Walter in that Capitol Wrestling Center. We need it. So then we get an Undisputed Era promo. Adam Cole's talking about Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, who are the next opponents. Adam Cole talked about, like, hey, we know how tough Tommaso Ciampa is. Like, we've been fighting him for a long time now. We know how tough he is. Timothy Thatcher, we're not sure. We never really had a match with him before, but we've seen the fight pit. We know how it goes with Timothy Thatcher. And Roderick Strong talked, which he obviously should not be doing, but he says that he and Cole are tough guys, but they have more experience as a team, while Ciampa and Thatcher are basically just tough guys, and he called them dorks. He just calls everybody dorks. He's such a weirdo. Anyway, the 5th match was Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Bronson Reed, which feels like the 4th time they've had a match this month. It feels like they wrestle every week this month, and I know this is probably just the 2nd match that they've had, and there is no reason for them to be wrestling. Anyway, Reed is still doing top rope stuff, like he did a tope through a dive through the ropes. Swerve did a Kimura from the top rope, like a Kimura takedown, and then he did his little kick to the head and a 450, and Bronson Reed kicked out of all of that. And then Reed beat him with a top rope splash. Just beat him again. Clean as a whistle again. So Swerve post match, he's seething, pretty upset. I don't know why they dumping on Swerve, man. I don't know what he did. Like, he must have done something to somebody. Like, he must have shit in somebody's bag or hit on somebody's girlfriend or something. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Because he simply loses every week. And there's no heat on this show. Like, none of the heels have any fucking heat because they keep beating them. Anyway, Tommaso Ciampa, they did a backstage segment where Tommaso Ciampa says that there are fights that you win, fights that you lose, and fights that you remember. And the fights that you remember are the fights that command respect. So then Timothy Thatcher walked in. He says that the fight pit changes a man. It changes you physically, mentally, and it gives you a clear vision. And that through that, your respect grows. And that's why he accepted Ciampa's desire to be in the Dusty Cup. And they've already won one match. And now they got to fight Undisputed Era. But there is something that was a little strange there. Because after Ciampa walked away, Thatcher was still sitting there angry. Like frustrated. So is he about to turn on Ciampa again? Is he about to turn on this guy and beat him up again? That would be strange. I don't know if I mean, Thatcher being a babyface is weird, you know. So maybe he needs to turn on him. So I don't know. I would hate that though, because that would be like it would be a decent swerve, but I would hate it because it would be like a waste of time as far as putting them in a tournament and everything. So the main event was Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, who are the NXT Tag Team Champions, which is very important because they lost. They lost. The NXT Tag Team Champions just got beat clean in the middle of the ring by two guys who don't even really like each other. Now, they did tell the decent story of Balor and Kyle O'Reilly working together early, about their, kind of their, they were bonding, I guess you could say. And there was frustration on the champ's behalf that they couldn't exactly beat these guys down and keep them down. But Kyle O'Reilly countered a second rope drop kick into a heel hook, and Danny Burch tapped out. After the match, Pete Dunne attacked Finn Balor, and it was a 3-on-2 brawl. They just beat Balor down. They beat the hell out of him. And then they was going to snap his little fingers because, that's Pete Dunne's gimmick. And Kyle O'Reilly was down. And it literally took forever for Undisputed Era to show up. Like, it literally took forever for Adam Cole and Roderick Strong to get down there. Like, they stomped Finn Balor for a good 40 seconds and held him in place. And they literally walked. They didn't even run to the ring. They walked to the ring. And when they finally got to the ring, of course, the bad guys scattered. So then you had Finn Balor standing with Undisputed Era for a while. And it was just a shot of them all standing together. And, of course, this is a nice little tease for people who are interested in this. Finn Balor joining the Undisputed Era or teaming with them is, I don't know how I feel about it. Cause I feel like they're just about to turn on and kick Kyle O'Reilly out because Kyle O'Reilly teamed with Finn Balor kind of on his own and not with them and didn't want to be bothered with them, or he was doing his own thing. So I feel like they're probably about to kick Kyle O'Reilly out the group. But they're probably gonna team up just for this situation because it's three of them, and I guess Bobby Fish is past his nap time, so he's not gonna show up to work ever again. But so the Balor standing with Undisputed Era was a nice tease, but it was clear that they were not in any rush to help Finn Balor, and they was just kind of letting them get beat up because they didn't really care. They was out there to help Kyle O'Reilly. So that was NXT. It was a bunch of tag team matches, and the singles matches didn't really matter. This tournament is really weighing the show down. I mean, it did it last year too. The January Dusty Cup it slowed the show down to a crawl. It did the same thing this year. You have so many guys that they could be using, they could be using better. Now they've added the women's Dusty Cup, which makes their matches too long too. They refuse to just go back to start doing squash matches. There is some potential there. Uh, the Kurt Stallion stuff got me kind of excited because I do like Kurt Stallion. I think he's dope. The Santos Escobar, Karrion Kross stuff is pretty interesting. That looks like that might be interesting too. I do like the idea of Roderick Strong and Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. That sounds like that's going to be a badass main event for the next week. But we need some flash. We need somebody with some color in NXT. You know, especially a babyface. There needs to be a top level babyface in NXT that actually brings something. That everybody isn't trying to be edgy and mean and tough and over the top. Like, they need somebody. I'm trying to think of somebody like off the top of my head that might be a good example. They need like a Randy Savage. Like that was the one thing. Like when NXT in the past was really good because they had like Sami Zayn. Right, you had the fiery underdog babyface, who always had like good performances, even if he lost, but he looked good. Kind of like Shotzi Blackheart is for the women. Like Shotzi is like a energy boost for the women's division. Like Shotzi loses more than she wins, but she's always interesting. She's always doing something. You know, she's always involved. She's colorful. She's loud. She's different. They need something for the men's division that's kind of like that. You know, it's just been so much Undisputed Era, Finn Balor, so much of the same guys. They need to bring in or shoot somebody out of a cannon that make them interesting, you know, and I don't know what you do. Like, I think that part of it, what could have helped is they need to bring in well, NXT always bringing in new people. And that's kind of what MSK is. You know, MSK is supposed to be like the new young guys that are bringing high G and all that type of stuff. It's like, yeah, but that's a tag team. I'm talking like they need a singles act that they can build up over time that everybody wants to see win and become the champion and all that type of stuff and lead the division, lead the brand, bring some color to this shit. Instead of it all feeling drab and gray, it just has a gray feel to it, you know? And even though the matches are good, even though the performers are good, it just feels drab. And then this fucking tournament also feels drab, you know, because they don't care that much about it. And it seems like just it's something to waste time while they do other things. But this wasn't my favorite episode of NXT, let's put it like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Use the hashtag 3Con Commentaries to support 3Con Commentaries. And I appreciate you guys for your time. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Da, 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 da.